I'm going to take some notes, but before we do, we're going to highlight the terms that we've already taken notes on just so they stand out better in our journals. So, identity, mirror, window, these should all be on page 3. On page 4, I'm going to highlight stereotypes. And then now we are on to some new notes. So whether you are going to write these in, like copy them in yourself, or if you have this page that you're going to glue in as close to the top as possible, glue it way close to the top of the page so you don't run out of room for that reflection. But if you glue this page in right now, go ahead, highlight major characters, minor characters, protagonist, antagonist, and at the bottom here, or kind of towards the bottom, we've got neutral character. And then I'm going to jump into, not play it again, but jump into talk about the notes provided on the major character chart. So a major character is the most important character needed to tell the story. Um, they're involved in the major conflict. So they could be a villain, they could be a hero, probably both, like in an action movie or in a superhero movie. The villain is probably a major character, even if we don't like them. Major characters may have a lot of dialogue, so they're talking a lot. They appear in several or most scenes. They tell the story from their own point of view sometimes. Excuse me. They could be central to the narration or the storytelling, and they're most likely to be dynamic instead of flat. And we'll talk about what that means in some future notes. And then a minor character, who, if you're looking at the screen and are trying to figure out who the heck this person is, he's a minor character. He's from Spider-Man 1 or 2, not sure. He's a banker. So he's a character in the background. He's not involved in the major conflict, but he's necessary to the story a little bit. He's important in a scene, or maybe he's being talked about. Not in the story a whole bunch, but a little bit necessary. And the minor characters are more likely to be flat instead of dynamic. So major character is probably dynamic, minor character probably flat. Let's go back. I'm going to go back to this video, jump into my protagonist and antagonist. So first I'm going to, just in my journal, or my hand, there we go. I'm going to highlight basically this whole box. So before we get into protagonist and antagonist, it's important to know that these are usually major characters. Sometimes an antagonist might be a minor character, but usually they're both major. And a neutral character would be minor, most likely. Not always true, but most likely. A protagonist, I'm going to take my notes here, is someone who faces or deals with the conflict. Okay, they're like the hero in the story. Their opponent is the antagonist. So protagonist and antagonist are facing against each other. Okay, the antagonist is someone who causes that conflict. They're instigating. They're starting drama. Okay, they're causing trouble for the protagonist. Okay, typically, but not always, the main character. Okay. I use the word instigate. You can go ahead and write that down if you'd like. And then another way to think about protagonist and antagonist is just like good versus evil. So protagonist being good, antagonist usually being like bad or problematic or starting drama. Not always straight up evil, but usually the one we're not cheering for. And then a neutral character is in between these two. Okay, it could be a character who doesn't take sides. They may not be involved enough in the story to cause conflict or face conflict. They're probably a minor character, and they're sometimes in the background trying to help the protagonist respond to the conflict. As a reflection, Who is a major character in your life? Explain how they act as an antagonist or a protagonist.